Good morning, everybody. Got your coffee? I got mine. So first things first, there will be new people that will stumble upon my videos, and based on what they hear, they will decide whether or not they would like to follow or subscribe, like, comment, share. And so you all haven't been following me for a long time, and on the other platform, TikTok, which is where I'm more popular. So let me tell you this. One of the things that I will never do is get down in the comments and argue with a troll. I'll never do that. I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the desire to do it. And I respect myself too much to do that. Having an opposing opinion is one thing, but being disrespectful is another. And if you can't have disrespectful dialogue because you don't have the emotional intelligence, you don't have the capacity to carry a conversation that is adult-like in nature, I just block you. With that said, yesterday I actually had a really good day. And I was having such a good day that at some point I started to feel a little guilty, because I know that there are still so many people who are struggling actively right now with what has happened and what is going to happen to America. Listen, understanding, like everything else, because I always say this, is on a scale. Understanding. And some people have a better grasp on this reality than others, because you can kind of see the chess pieces on the board and the way they set everything up. And later on towards the evening, my husband and I, we got into a discussion about that, because they have laid the foundation, the groundwork for Project 2025 without people even noticing it or realizing it. Some people will tell you that Project 2025 is something that the Republican Party introduced back in the 80s during the days of Reagan. And I don't know about that. There probably were versions of that, but what I do know is that the author of the most radical parts of Project 2025 wasn't there then. I'm not saying he didn't exist, but he wasn't there then. He's going to be the Vice President of the United States of America. The person who wrote some of the most extreme language, proposed some of the most extreme ideology, listen, will now be our Vice President. Trump was very cozy with Putin, and he worships that Kim Jong-un. And China and Russia have gotten even cozier with one another over these last few years. And this man, that those of us who have a better understanding, does not care about this nation or its people, only his pockets and his power. He is going to sell off pieces of this nation like an old used car. I don't know whether or not, last time I checked, I didn't know whether or not they had the House. But they have the Senate, they have the presidency, they have the Supreme Court. And most of the judges who make decisions in the lower courts in these United States are now conservative. And I gotta say, as an independent, I wished one of the reasons why I left the Democratic Party was because I needed for the Democrats to push back harder and to be proactive, more proactive. And when you see the setup to prepare for the fallout or for the setup not to happen, and I hadn't seen the Dems doing that. Even though I am a left-leaning progressive independent, because I can't vote the other party. Not that racist, hateful party that is rolling back my rights and the rights of people that look like me. They're rolling back everyone's rights. And if you are not a cis white man in America with money, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. We all are. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. What they have done with rolling back affirmative action, first they're trying to take away all of the rights of black people. And to do that successfully, you have to stop and prevent, or make it harder, at least. If you can't immediately stop and prevent, you have to do the next best thing, you see. And that is to prevent as many black people from becoming college graduates as possible. So you roll back affirmative action. And then that Rocky Raccoon, Clarence Thomas, helped them do it. Because he got his. He an op. He been an op. He married to a whole racist white wife. Not a white wife, a racist white wife who supported Donald Trump and supports the Republican agenda. And she don't have to care about young women because she an old woman. She don't have to care about young women and bodily autonomy. She has money, privilege, and power. She don't have to care. And a lot of white women who don't have to care about younger white women basically told y'all on y'all own. When I'm really, really worried, I either can't sleep. If I'm very worried, I talk in my sleep. And if I'm scared, I scream out in my sleep. And last night, I screamed out in my sleep. And I know exactly who I screamed for. I screamed for young black women because if you live in a red state, and I'm all about bodily autonomy. You know, I would never tell someone what to do with their body. But I'm going to tell you, as a mother, if it were my daughter, I would tell my daughter to run, not walk, to her OBGYN and put in an IUD. I think you can have it for 5 years or something like that. My doctor was going to give me one, but it was only, it was for another condition. It wasn't to prevent pregnancy. And I think she told me 5 years. I am so afraid of y'all because of what our maternal mortality rates are in this nation, around the world, really. Because of the racism within the healthcare system, they do not care about us. That's why so many of us die and we don't get great care. But if you live in a red state as a black woman, or I just wish I could just hug you, because I'm so scared for y'all. And some of y'all not even young enough. Y'all not even old enough, should I say, or aware enough to understand the danger that y'all are in right now. Because sometimes your body just loses a pregnancy. When I lost my son Marcus, I was in my 6th month, and they didn't know why. I asked why. I said, why did this happen to me? And the doctor said, we don't know. We don't always know. And the procedure that I needed, it would be considered an abortion in this red state. And mind you, when I realized I was losing my baby, it was literally like one of those dramatic scenes that played out in a movie. I was in the tub and I noticed some blood, and then I prayed that it was nothing, and then I got dressed as normal, and then I felt wetness in my underwear, and I checked myself and it was more blood. And then I went to the emergency room and they couldn't find a heartbeat, and then they admitted me, and they had to give me a drug to push him from my body because I was so far along, and then I needed a second procedure, and that would be considered an abortion in this state, and I could have died of sepsis had I not been given that procedure. And that's what it is now for y'all. A doctor not being able to give you what you need. And because we have higher infant and maternal mortality rates, I would never want one of my little sisters to go through that. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was a horrible experience. And I will wish it on my worst enemy. And then to not be able to get the care that you need behind that, because it's considered an abortion. My heart cries for y'all. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. I'm so scared for y'all. And it's just all of a sudden that fear just took over at 3 o'clock this morning. I'm so afraid for y'all. I have never told anybody what to do with their body in my whole life because I believe in bodily autonomy, but get a fucking IUD. Get a fucking IUD. They're going to go after birth control next. They have already gone after so many things that make black people better. And you younger black people, y'all don't understand what our ancestors went through, how they had to live, how they had to scrape by. Y'all don't appreciate it. Y'all don't value it. Because not enough of y'all protected it. They're going after no fault divorce. That means that if you are married to, trigger warning, an abusive man who does things like commits marital rape against you, abuses you physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, or even your children, it will be almost impossible to get out of that marriage if he doesn't want it. I'm going to advise women the way my grandmother advised me back in the day. Make sure you have an account. If you still the marrying kind and these men have still convinced you that they are the prize, make sure you have an account somewhere separate from them. Make sure your kids' birth certificates and social security cards are in one place along with yours. Make sure y'all passports are in one place in case you have to flee. Someone yesterday thought that when I said make sure your passports are up to date, that I was solely speaking on moving to another country. If that's your goal, that's your goal. But there are other reasons why your passport will need to be in order. Women did this and they didn't think. Women who voted for Trump. Because again, white women. That's why I told black women, don't kumbaya with y'all. Because we can't trust you. You proved it again. As a collective, you proved it again that we cannot trust you. And unfortunately, while not all white women, most white women chose white hoods over womanhood. And that's just the truth. Be mad. There's no nice way to put that. Not understanding what that's going to look like for their daughters. You know, privileged white women, they always are going to have the privilege, just like they did back before Roe v. Wade was passed. They're always going to have the privilege of those doctors that can give their 15-year-old an abortion. It's going to be, you know, black women and other women of color that don't have that privilege. It's going to be poor white women that will not have that privilege. Rich white women have always had access to abortions. But some of you women in the middle class, you all are going to experience some painful days ahead. And now that men have all the chess pieces in order, they've taken away affirmative action, going after no fault divorce. Let me tell you what they're going to stop doing, what the setup is, in case you ain't got there. They're going to stop hiring women. They're going to stop hiring gay people. They're going to stop hiring trans people. They're going to stop hiring Asian people. They're going to stop hiring black people. They're going to stop hiring anyone who is an cis white male, because they want to go back to mediocre white men being able to be the breadwinners and doing whatever it is they want to do, because they were so afraid of replacement theory. And we know what happens when mediocre white men have to go up against black excellence or people, other minorities who are marginalized people, communities who are also excellent. Gay men and gay women, the Latinos, the Asians. They're going to make it easier for them to win. That's what this game is about. Easier for them to control everyone. And broke white men, poor white men, that's what they think, and they may not be wrong. They may not be wrong. Now let me tell you who is wrong. Poor black men. I said I wanted to see the numbers on poor black men, and I had a couple black men who were in my comment section. One said this didn't age very well. Actually, it aged excellently. Because I never said that I thought that more black men than not wouldn't vote Democratic. I never said that. What I said was I was interested to see the numbers on black men, because a lot of black men were rooting for Trump, and 21% of you, meaning your numbers doubled, voted for Trump. Those facts. What do you want me to do about it? Why are you mad at me? I just told the truth. Again, be mad. What do you want me to do? As people in the black community, let me tell you, what our demise is going to be is not acknowledging our truth and not holding ourselves accountable. I'm Generation X, and I said it multiple times. There's people in my comments will tell you that we have failed to put the education in younger black people. That's why so many of you voted for Trump. People like that Red rapper, whatever her name is, Sexy Red. People like Ice Cube. Well, he's my age. He should know damn better. People like Kanye West. People like Just Hilarious. I'm sorry, was it? People like Tasha K. These are all black people that should be, I won't say it, but they should be ashamed of themselves. Our candidate didn't win, but your vote for Trump will still put you on the wrong side of history. Because what's going to happen next? They want white men back getting all the jobs, making all the money. They want women back in the kitchens having babies. They want black people back in servitude. They want Latinos to get the fuck out of America. And you better plan for it all. The only way black people who are on the bottom of the patriarchy, the only way that we are going to survive this is together. Y'all had better learn how to start taking care of each other again, and quickly. Learn how to grow food. Learn how to fish, hunt. Learn how to share resources. Learn how to make money without white people. Your friendship circles, your village, you need to start going back to the village and building the village. And your village should have people in it that have medical knowledge, people who know how to build, people who are mechanical, people who know how to grow, people who know how to hunt and fish, people who know about artillery, firearms, people who are good caregivers, so that they can keep your kids instead of y'all putting them in these white daycares where they about to be treated even worse than they are now. That means black men got to get back to respecting black women. Black women got to get back to trusting other black women. And all y'all got to start respecting the older people, because the older people are the ones who are going to need the income and would be available to babysit your children. Y'all got to go back to that way. We have to. If we're going to survive this here in America. And we definitely have to mind our business. And I've seen some TikToks where black women are saying, don't ever ask black women for nothing. Black women, y'all should have been on that shit. But I want to see how deep does that go with y'all? How much do y'all really believe that? Because let me tell you what you can't do. What you can't do is say don't ask black women for nothing anymore. Black women gonna mind our business when it comes to other POC and white folks. What you can't do is do that and then continue to give them your income, your money, your wealth, so that they can afford to do the things to us that they can afford to do to us. Are you still going to buy your Teslas, your Gucci, your Prada, your luxury brands? Because you're enriching white people and all of that. White people who then take that money, turn around, and fuck you over with it. I mean, I summed it up, but that's basically the gist of it. In a nutshell. How committed to prosperity are you really? How committed to managing your business are you really? How committed to your community are you really? How committed to generational wealth are you really? I did a TikTok not too long ago about Elon Musk and Tesla. And there was someone in the comments going back and forth with me, and it was a black person, and I could tell they drove a Tesla. They didn't say it, but I could tell it, because they just kept going back and forth. They weren't nasty or anything, but they just kept going back and forth about that. And I was like, yeah, you clearly drive a Tesla. Elon Musk is a racist who says he wants to help sink the American economy. He is a racist. He is as bad as Donald fucking Trump is. He is a whole ass racist. The things he says, and the things that he does. But y'all buying his product. What does black people buying his product say about him? And what do the black people who buy his product, what does that say about you? Don't get me wrong, because we didn't have the fortitude to build back Black Wall Street bigger and better. There are going to be times when we're going to have to give, or we need the goods and services of white people. But a luxury purse isn't one of them. A luxury dress, a high-end dress isn't one of them. And not to mention, I told you the history behind that, and a lot of people who really make those things and how they're not paid anything. I gave y'all a whole history about that over on TikTok. It's black people sewing better fashions in their basement than ever walk down a runway. But y'all don't fuck with them because y'all don't value blackness the way y'all say y'all value blackness. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. It is. It'll be interesting to see how black people overcome this. And if a lot of us stay meek and docile, and continue to prove that we have no backbone, and continue to let white supremacy walk all over us. It'll be interesting to see that after this vote. But I remain terrified for black women. I do. And let me tell you, one question you can start by asking yourself is, if you die in childbirth, do you trust your partner to raise that child or your children? And if your answer to that is no, you don't need that partner and you don't need to be pregnant. Y'all have a good day. If you like to support the platform, I'll leave my Venmo and Cash App in the comments. Y'all try to have a good day. I don't know what else I can say. I wish I could be more positive, but I get it. I understand what they want to do.